Hi, my name is Aya, and I'm from Osaka in Japan. I'm 23 years old right now, and yeah, as Riz told, I'm go to Bellevue College to participate in international business program there. So, yeah, I want to share about my story. I was born in Osaka, so I went to public junior high school in Osaka. And I used to be like I want to be very perfect all the time. I always think I have to perfect. I studied really very hard to get really high grade. And I always try to be nice to friends, even they did really hard, really bad things to me. I always try to be happy and nice to them all the time. And in addition, I have a very strong influence from my elder brother. He was very smart, and he is still smart right now. Yeah, and he always got very good, very high grade, and he graduated from really good university in Japan. So he was kind of famous in my area. Like I live in Osaka, but my hometown is very small, so everybody knows him. So I have really strong pressure to study very hard to get high grade all the time. So I did. I study every couple hours every day, and I try to get very, very high grade. And at that time, I did not satisfy. So I did not satisfy sometimes. Even I got better grades than my brother, but I didn't know why. I always feel empty in my heart. But I still believe if I can get grade and go to really good university and get really good job, my life will be satisfied and my life will be very enjoyable until I will pass away from my, So, I was kind of that person, and normally Japanese students have to sit examination to pass to go to high school. So I had to decide which school I am going to apply for. And at that time, I was kind of good at English and sociology grades, so I thought I want to become a translator or interpreter in the future. So I was going to apply to the school which has really high English program. But I told my mom about it, and she said, why don't you go to overseas to study English? And I was really surprised because I was just surprised, and I was a little bit afraid to go to overseas by myself because I've never been to overseas at that time. But I thought it is really good opportunity to try, because if I am in different culture and English country, probably my English will be really improved, and probably I can be really good interpreter. So I decided to go to New Zealand to study English for my high school education. And after I went to New Zealand, of course, I struggled about my English. It was really hard for me to communicate with Kiwi people, like New Zealand people, and they have strange accents, so it was really hard to understand what they are talking about, and sometimes they are kind of crazy things, so I can't understand they are very different with me. So, of course, they are different, but it was the first time for me to live without my family for a long time. So I felt really loneliness all the time. And, I have trouble to communicate in English. So I was kind of lonely that time. And one day, my host mother introduced to one of Kiwi couple. They used to live in Japan for 10 years in Yokohama prefecture area. And they are not Christian, but they are very nice to me, of course, because they know so many Japanese people there. And they invite me to come to English conversation type of club to practice my English. So I went there to practice my English once a week. And at there, I met Christian lady whose name is Mika. Mika is about 10 years older than me, but she's very nice and very, very friendly to me all the time. And she knows how I struggle about my English and accept Kiwi culture. So I sometimes go to Mika's place to eat Japanese food because she cooks so delicious Japanese food. So yeah, I went to her place sometimes to eat Japanese food. And she always listen about my struggles, and she always gave me really good advice. Actually, she graduated from university in England, so she knows how struggle and how really hard to accept another culture when I was 16 or 17 years old. So she was really good friend with me. And one day she invited me to come to church. The reason is that I said to her, I have some trouble to make Kiwi friends in school. And she said, there are some girls who goes to same school as me, so why don't you come to church to meet with girls? And I said, okay. And I didn't know she was Christian because she never told me she was Christian. She just told me she is working as an interpreter in New Zealand, so I didn't know she was Christian at that time. But I was really good friend with her, so I didn't think anything she's bad people or something like that. But for me, my images of religion is not very good. Because there are some really bad crime in Japan by silly religion people, so religion is kind of dangerous things, I thought, before I go to church. And I went to church with her, and my first impression of church is really not very nice one. My church was Baptist church, and that church is a little bit focused on speaking in a tongue. So, when I was in that church, some people start talking, really strange words. Probably, it is English, I thought, but probably it is not. So, it was kind of uncomfortable for me to be there. So I just sit down and watch those people. So, it wasn't really nice one. But after the service, I talked with my future host father and my friends, and I saw they seems to be okay. But I thought probably I won't be back to church anymore because I thought it is not my things. I don't really want to go back, I thought at that time. But next day, my friend of old couple, my neighbor, gave me a book. They are not Christian, but they gave me a book about the man who was very strong Christian, and Christian man. So I read in English because they thought it is really good practice for my reading. So, and when I started reading the book, I couldn't stop reading because one of the Bible verses makes me so comfortable and refreshed. At that time, I struggled with so many things like English, school study, or relationship with Japanese friends, whatever. I have so much trouble with that. So I read Matthew 11:28 through 30, which is, "Come to me, and I will give you rest, all of you who work so hard beneath a heavy yoke. Wear my yoke, for it fits perfectly, and let me teach you. For I am gentle and humble, and you shall find rest for your souls. So I give you only light burdens. So when I read this part, I got interested in about Bible. So I asked Mika to teach. And in addition, I tried to participate in youth group, which provided by my church. The reason is that I wanted to make Kiwi friends there. So I went there to participate in Bible study and have like fun night, like event things. And yeah, I actually enjoy church very, very much. And I met my host sister and my future host sister and brother there, and they are very nice. So I had really good time with them. And at that time, I was thinking to move out my house to improve my English because I used to stay with just one lady. So I thought I want to go to a very noisy place, like there are many people, and to improve my English. So I talked about my Mika about it, and she suggests me to go to pastor's house because they have 5 kids, so and they invite me to come and stay. So I decided to go to pastor's house to stay for 1 year. Yeah, 1 year. So I went there and stayed with them. And like my host father is very friendly and nice person. Like he always invite people to come over to dinner, and he always do marriage counseling as well. So every single day there are a lot of people at my house. So it was really very noisy place all the time. But yeah, I had to talk with somebody because there are so many people. So I talked with many Christian people, and I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, and my host family had like kind of disease, like genetically, like my host father has kind of disease. So my host brother and sisters have trouble with bones and teeth. So they always had to go to hospital to have operation before they grew up. So otherwise they have trouble. So yeah, so it's kind of hard. Like yeah, one of my host sister always ride wheelchair. So I thought if it was me, I thought I can't live as a human, I thought. But she's always very, very bright and very nice to me. And actually, I've never seen such a bright person in my life, even I'm in here. She's very, very bright. So, yeah, through her, I realized, when I was junior high school student, I thought my life will be so bright and fun if I have good education and get really good job and yeah, sort of thing. So through her and my host family, I realized it is not right answer to live peacefully and enjoyable. So yeah, my host family and my Christian friend in church told me many things through the Bible and their life. So I decided to believe in Jesus for my Savior. And after I accept Jesus, my New Zealand life became so enjoyable. I still have trouble with my English. At that time, I still have trouble with my English, but yeah, I could make really nice friends there, and I enjoy my church. So it makes me satisfied so much. My heart satisfied so much, and I have a comfortable about my future. I used to be worried about my future all the time. So that is another reason I studied so hard in Japan. Yeah, my host father kept telling me one thing, like he always told me, God is always with you. Even I'm not Christian, even I wasn't Christian at that time. So actually, it relieved my feeling all the time. I do not feel loneliness and emptiness after I became Christian. And after I left New Zealand, I tried to go to church in Osaka. And I visited a couple of churches in Osaka area, but some church keep sending envelope to donation. So it makes my mom so uncomfortable. So my mom really want me to go to church in Japan. She didn't really care to go to church in New Zealand because she knows my host family is really nice and she loves them so much as well. But yeah, she didn't really want me to go. So I gave up to go to church in Japan. And yeah, since April, I came to Seattle, and I've been in Seattle about 11 months right now. And honestly, this year was the hardest time for me to be as a Christian because I struggled to find a good church in here. And most of my close friends here is non-Christian friends. Yeah, they are really, really nice, and they're always helpful, and yeah, it is really fun for me to hang out with them all the time. And sometimes I doubt, I thought, do I have to be Christian? I don't really think I have to be Christian, and it's really hard, I thought. So, yeah, because I try to go to church and I try to be like the church, but when I was in church in here, I always feel very empty, and I thought it's kind of meaningless to go to church in here. So, yeah, I normally really I always want to talk about myself, but in here I don't really want to talk about myself with Christian people. Yeah, it was so hard, and yeah, actually I didn't attend church about 6 months here because I can't continue going there. It was really tough for me to go and be there. But God had a plan for me to go through the right path, even I was not very honest to him. Finally I could find a church which I can enjoy attending in January. And I am really happy that I could talk about myself with Christian friends in here, and yeah. They always inspire me so much. So, yeah, I realized I have to be Christian, and I have to try to go to church in Japan as well. So I will go back to Japan in coming March. I hope I can continue going to church in Japan to share my faith to God with other Christian brothers and sisters in Japan. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.